Hello, everyone. I'm Randy Arrington, and welcome to the 25th episode of Page Valley Living. We're here today on the campus of Page County High School at Allen Knight Field to talk to the man himself, the legendary Panther coach here, Allen Knight, who recently was inducted into Virginia High School League Hall of Fame after amassing more than 1,000 victories in volleyball and softball and 7 state championships between the two sports over his long coaching career here in the Page Valley. We'll be talking about the recent heartbreaking season that just ended, a look towards the future, and a look back at the past as well, and how this longtime coach feels about his growing legacy. We'll talk about all that and more in just a moment, but first, let's take a look at this week's headlines. And now, looking back at the week that was in the Page Valley. On Monday night, the Page County Board of Supervisors discussed the future of the county's visitor center during closed session, but no action was taken. Supervisors will decide later this month whether thousands of dollars in funding will be shifted from the Chamber of Commerce to the Page County Economic Development and Tourism Office to take over operations July 1 and relocate the visitor center from the train depot to another location. Don't forget to cast your ballot in the June 18th Republican primary. 5 candidates will appear on the ballot for the chance to face off with Democratic incumbent Tim Kaine for a U.S. Senate seat. Early in-person voting is available at the County Government Center through June 15th. On Saturday, Page County Public Schools is set to graduate 261 local students between 2 ceremonies on Saturday, June the 8th. The first is at 10 a.m. at Page County High School, the second at 6 p.m. at Luray High School. Both ceremonies will be live streamed for those not able to attend in person. Those links will be provided on Page Valley News. 43% of the local graduating class of 2024 plans to further their education at various colleges, universities, or trade schools. Nearly half of those will be attending 4-year colleges or universities this fall. Outgoing seniors in the class of 2024 received more than $140,000 awarded through local scholarships. With about half of the county's graduates immediately entering the workforce, at least 11 have signed up for military service. In the world of sports, Luray High School's Davy Johnson won his 2nd state title on Saturday at the VHSL Class II State Track and Field Championships in Harrisonburg at JMU. In the process, the junior also broke his father's LHS record in the 800 meters that had stood for 39 years. Davy took the state championship in the 800 meters after winning the 1600 meters state title last year. On Saturday, Johnson also earned his 3rd state runner-up finish as a member of the 4x400 meter relay team. LHS hurdler James Farrow earned all-state honors in 2 hurdling events. The Luray Junior took 5th place in the 300-meter hurdles and 6th place in the 110-meter hurdles. Page County's Summer Kite took 7th in the girls' 3,200-meter run and placed 13th at the state in 1,600 meters. Luray's Anna Whitmer posted 2 8th-place finishes at the state meet in the 400-meter dash and the 800-meter run. Overall, it was a strong year for local athletes at the state track and field meet on Saturday. Between Luray and Page County combined, a total of 12 athletes finished among the top 10 in their respective events. And now looking ahead at the weekend in the Page Valley, on Friday, June 7th, the town of Shenandoah will host a cruise-in from 6 to 9. Scott Bolden will be performing at Skyline up in Shenandoah National Park from 7 to 9, and Music Bingo at Valley Cork, downtown Luray, 7 to 9 p.m. On Saturday, June 8th, Daughter of the Stars Farmers Market is going to be open in Shenandoah from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Timothy Seaman will be performing at Skyline in Shenandoah National Park from 7 to 9. Then on Sunday, June the 9th, it'll be the Wisteria Wellness Festival from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Wisteria Farm and Vineyard on Marksville Road, just outside of Stanley. And that's the headlines for the past week in the Page Valley. And episode 25 of Page Valley Living is being recorded on Wednesday, June the 5th, and will be airing on Thursday, June the 6th. And we're back now inside the dugout here at Allen Knight Field, talking with Page County High School head softball coach Allen Knight. And Coach Knight, thanks so much for being with us here today.
My pleasure.
Now, let's introduce you to some folks who may not be familiar with Page County softball. They may be, as we say, they ain't from here. And so tell us a little bit. How long have you been at Page County High School?
I have been here. This was year number 42 for coaching softball. I started in the fall of 1981 as a teacher / coach.
Wow.
I coached volleyball here for 34 years. Eventually got out. And I've been, like I said, coaching softball. This was year number 42.
Now, I got to be honest. I knew it was 20 plus, but I did not realize. So I want to make sure I heard you right. You said you've been coaching softball here at this school for 42 years.
Yes, this was year 42.
Wow.
Let's not count the COVID year, because I don't count it, because like I tell people, we practiced for 3 weeks and then we were shut down. We didn't have a season. So
right.
I'm sorry, I don't count that.
Right. Well, I can understand now how you amass those 1,000 wins. But we're going to talk about your accolades in just a second. But I want to first deal with the tough stuff. I want to deal with the heartache and the elephant here on the field. That loss in the Region 2B semifinal, May 29th, just over a week ago. What did you tell the girls out in the outfield after that 2-1 loss to Central?
We had opportunities. It's nobody's fault but our own. We had numerous opportunities to find a way to score a run. We didn't do it. There's nothing I can say that's going to make this. There's no special words.
Right.
There's nothing I'm going to say that's going to make this feel any different right now. Hopefully, in a few weeks, we realize how good of a season we truly had. Yes, we were 21-2. We did not get where I think a lot of people thought we would be, and that's in the state tournament.
Right.
And unfortunately, we were a game short of that. But that's the game. This time of year, you lose, you go home. You win, you move on.
Well, you guys, as you said, 21-2. Your only other loss was the Class 3 Turner Ashby, and that was on the road at the Knights home field. I think back in March. But I'll tell you, that was a great season. The girls should definitely hold their heads high. But I tell you, as you said, 14 stranded runners. You had the bases loaded twice with one out. I mean, was that one of the toughest losses you've had to take?
I've coached 42 years. That was different.
Yeah,
it's pretty different.
Yeah, I tell you,
I've been through anything like that before.
It was a few hundred stunned people here in Carolina Blue, and just I could feel the heartbreak. But we'll move on from that and talk about the fact that what you maybe got a little bit, what you're losing to graduation on Saturday and what you got coming back next year. You're losing 7 seniors off a 15-player roster. 2 key members of the team headed down to South Carolina to play for Division II Coker College, and one of them represents a big part of your defense, that big right arm of Bailey Gaskins. And I'll tell you, she had a great senior year. She's a repeat player of the year in the Bull Run District and Region 2B, and I believe she broke the strikeout record here at Page this year.
She did. She had a great season. She broke that. So it will be an exciting time. We'll talk about. We have a team meeting here in a couple of weeks, and that's something we'll talk about then.
Because you had more than one player break records, didn't you?
Well, she actually broke. She has broken a couple, and then we also had another player break.
I'll be excited to hear about that. Keep me in the loop.
I don't want to let out the surprise.
I got you. Okay. All right. But I tell you, I especially felt bad for all the girls, for you, the school, but especially Bailey, because I remember back as a sophomore, her going toe-to-toe with that girl from Appomattox in a 1-0 loss in the state championship as a sophomore. And I know in her mind for 2 years she's just been wanting to get back to that game. So
knowing Bailey, I would say you're definitely correct.
One of the best competitors I have seen at the high school level. She really wants to win. And another one you're going to be losing next year, also headed down to Coker College, Ariana Roundabush. She seemed to have a good senior season leading off for you and a good offensive threat. She was a first-team all-district and first-team all-region, too.
She had a great season. She even stepped it up from last year. She had a really good season last year, and this year to my feeling, she took it another step forward.
Yeah.
Last year she was more of just a single, steal a few bases. I think this year she ended up with somewhere in the neighborhood of 9 doubles and like 7 or 8 triples.
Yeah. She was a key part of that offense, and y'all really did have some good bats this year. But despite losing almost half the roster to graduation on Saturday, you've got some good core coming back. I was really impressed by 3 sophomores you had this season. Aaliyah Knight, a great defensive player at shortstop, a tough out at the plate. She was a second-team all-district selection.
Yes. Yes, she did a nice job stepping in. She She was brought up probably roughly halfway through the year last year up from the JV team to get a little experience with us and just kind of be around us to hopefully prepare her for this year as a sophomore.
But her glove, particularly at shortstop, she made some great plays.
She made some nice plays. Beginning of the year was a little bit of a struggle. We worked through some things earlier in the year with her and Allie. We did some switching back and forth at short, second kind of thing, and then we just finally said, look, this is what we're going to do, and let's play with it and see what happens.
You had another sophomore, your cleanup hitter, number 4 spot, sophomore, first team all-region. I did not realize early in the season how much power that Kaylee Shiflett had.
She has a bunch. And people saw that. I mean, it was a nice – she ended up having a really nice year batting. It gave Bailey protection in the lineup, and that's something we needed. Yeah. And she did a nice job of coming through with that.
And, of course, you got another end fielder who's a sophomore who's coming back, who personally I consider one of the best all-around female athletes in the county is Allie Purdom. She was second team all-district at second base.
Right. She had a better year this year, too, also, than what she had last year. And that's what you need. You have to have kids step up.
Yeah.
And then for us, I mean, those are kids that had – a good season this year.
Yeah.
Now, next year, the expectations will be what?
Sure.
We got to be just a little better.
That's right.
We got to be just a little better than what you were this year. And then the new kids coming in have got to step in and do some things for us.
We're going to talk about building that program in a second here. I want to mention one more player, though, before we move on. Of course, another key returning player, junior Emma Lucas. She'll be a third-year starter next year at catcher. She was a first-team all-region selection.
She was. She does, at the all-region meeting, as I said, she does a really good job catching my pitcher.
Yeah.
She does. She handles it well. Yeah. She frames balls pretty well, and they seem to work really well together. Yeah. And she's done it for a couple of years now, so it helps.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Experience can't replace reps. And also I want to give a shout-out to some of the other seniors out there. Second-team all-district selection, Savannah Shiflett at third base, Adrian Martin in the outfield, and Emmy Bauer at the DP position as well. So that was really good. You guys kind of dominated that all-district and, well, even the all-region selection, as you should. Panthers with a great season, 21-2. Of course, as we were alluding to a moment ago, you seem more so that you kind of reload rather than rebuild in this program. Do you attend Babe Ruth games in the summer?
I go watch.
Not recruit.
I don't recruit. I go watch, just like some of our kids play travel ball.
Right.
If you let me know when you're playing, I'm going to, if you're within a 2-hour driving distance, I'll come and watch you play some.
Yeah. Well, there definitely seems to be, kind of a correlation or a pipeline here between these Babe Ruth players and the Shenandoah Rec League, who often are state champions. They go down to Florida almost every year to play in the World Series, and then they seem to come up and produce for the Panthers. So I guess it certainly is not a bad thing to have a strong youth program.
Oh, it helps. It's got to help. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
And coming through that pipeline, you've had a bunch of players, some really great ones going through that pipeline. I think Kate Gordon, one of the best softball players to ever play at James Madison University, is a Division I player, I believe. I believe her team 12U won the World Series in 2012 down in Florida. And, of course, now where were you when she hit that home run 3 years ago against Oklahoma in the World Series?
Right here.
Right here. You guys were still playing.
We're still playing.
But
I like to have been there, but I expect my kids to be here, and this is the main emphasis, so I can't leave.
Well, let me ask you this. When you saw it on replay on ESPN, I mean, how does that feel to have?
It's a proud moment. Yeah. I mean, I'm not mom or dad, but it's still a proud moment.
Absolutely. And now she's a professional player. You have coached a professional.
Well, she played a little bit professionally. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's saying a lot for the program. And, of course, you've had other D1 talent. Her sister, Maddie, went off and played for Penn State, I believe, and you've had some others. So have you ever counted how many?
No, I've never counted. I couldn't tell you how many I have.
It's got to be.
That's going on to play Division I, Division II, Division III. I don't know.
But, yeah, from ODAC all the way up to, well, professional, I mean, it's got to be dozens at least. And, I mean, am I in the ballpark, several dozen?
Could be. I don't know. I never really thought about it. It is what it is.
So now, obviously, after amassing these 7 state championships, you've had 3 in softball in 2014, 2015, 2018, and, of course, the runner-up finish in 2022. You've had over 1,000 wins in volleyball and softball. Back in late April at a ceremony at the Omni in Charlottesville, you were inducted as one of the newest inductees to the Virginia High School League Hall of Fame. How did that make you feel?
Pretty proud moment.
Yeah.
It's something special. It's something I'll never forget. It's probably something that my dad's never going to forget either. So
Yeah,
that was a key thing too. Because a friend of mine that actually got the whole ball thing rolling, because it's
good old Jerry.
Well, good old Jerry. It's people don't understand that it's a pretty big process.
Yeah.
And Jerry had talked to me years ago about doing it, and I was like, no, let's just wait a little while. And then I got to thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I think that means really something to my dad.
Yeah.
So he's, I mean, when we started talking about this, he's like 85, 86. I said, all right, Jerry, I'm in. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it.
And Jerry, of course, was kind of behind the push to help you get the batting cages back here, and he's been a good friend of the program.
Oh, that's his baby back there. I mean, his nonprofit organization that foot the bill for probably at least close to 3/4 of that.
Yeah. So big shout out to Jerry Carter and his nonprofit for all the help here with the Panthers. So let me ask you about one other thing before we kind of close out the first segment here. And I didn't realize this until I heard you say this. I think it was at Ariana's signing day that you've been on ESPN a little bit, doing a little broadcasting with the JMU volleyball, women's volleyball. Is that right?
Yes, I've been fortunate enough for the last 2 years to do a little broadcasting on ESPN Plus at volleyball matches at JMU.
How many matches do you think you've done?
Last year I did about 8. I think the year before I did like 3.
And how did you get involved? I mean, who approached you about it?
Kurt Dudley gave me a call 2 years ago and said, look, I know you've coached volleyball forever and ever. Would you be interested? I said, well, Sure. It's volleyball. I know volleyball.
Yeah, there you go.
As long as I don't have to do a lot of talking. So, I can do it.
I'll tell you something you probably didn't know. 30 years ago, mid-'90s, I worked with, or I should say at the station at the same time, at WSVA with Kurt Dudley. I worked with Mike Schickman, who used to be the football, and Jim Britt, and all those guys, Frank Wilt, and all.
I've known through various ways. I've known Kurt for a long time. I guess because I coached high school volleyball.
Yeah.
I played volleyball for a long time. I was involved with a lot of volleyball stuff, so I ended up being a scorekeeper there at JMU early on, so I met him there then, and did some of that stuff. I now do some line judging for Division III games for matches.
Oh, very good.
EMU, Bridgewater, Mary Baldwin. So I do a little bit of that.
Well, that is very neat. I got the broadcasting bug, and I'm envious that you've been on ESPN.
Well, it's like Kurt and the gentleman. I mean, I was always afraid of stepping on. I didn't want to step on their voice.
Right.
So I was very quiet and waited. And Corey and I worked with Corey this year a lot more than Kurt. Corey's like, look, I'm going to do a lot of talking, but there's going to be times like whenever there's a timeout, you're on. You got to talk. You're on. So
got to fill that gap.
Got to fill the gap a little bit.
Well, I think that is really neat and a great experience. Well, let's wrap up this first segment. I'm going to ask you a little question that everybody asks coaches that have been in the game for 40-plus years. You built an impressive resume. You said 42 years coaching softball here at Page County High School. Over such a long tenure, do you ever think about stepping down?
Every year.
Every year?
Well, it has been for now probably, I would say somewhere around, I don't remember exact time, but somewhere around the 35th, 36th, 37th year I was in it. I've told the administration here, look, let me have a month or two when the season's done. Let me think about it. And, I mean, because our contracts here it's a year-to-year contract.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm glad you didn't quit earlier because you still had a state championship in you.
Well, we did. But, I mean, I still like doing it. It's different now.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
I still like it. I like seeing kids grow and improve, not just as an athlete, but as a person.
Right.
So, I mean, that's one of the reasons I like it. I still do it. I've had great help throughout the years, which makes it also great.
Right.
That's one of the things that I'll do when I decide all right, do I want to do it?
Right.
If I do, are these people going to come back and help? If they're going to come back and help, then okay, let's do it. If they're not, then I might have to think about getting out.
All right. And you know
can't
who
do
you
this.
are.
You can't do this by yourself anymore. It's just too much.
Absolutely.
And that's what has helped us over the years. And it's been lots of people throughout the years. But we get, and I don't know what other people do in practice. I've never seen anybody else practice.
Right.
I know what we do. And I know we get a lot done because I have people that help.
Right.
And okay, look, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. Let's go.
Well, it makes a big difference to have good people behind you.
It does.
Well, I tell you, we're going to take a really quick break right now. Will you stick around and play a game called the 5 W's?
Yes,
you
sir.
Stick around? All right. Well, we'll do that in just a moment. But first, we would like to invite local businesses to consider being a sponsor on Page Valley Living. Each week we will explore a different issue important to the people of the Page Valley, and our viewership is growing. Each episode remains in our YouTube channel library indefinitely. So consider helping us keep this segment of our local news coverage going by trying a new medium for your marketing. Monthly rates are available. And now back to Page County softball coach Alan Knight in the 5 W's. I'm going to ask you 5 simple questions with a who, what, when, where, and why. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Who is the best hitter you've ever coached?
I've had quite a few, and I'm not going to name one because I think there's a couple kids out there that have their own special talent. So
Is Kate Gordon in the top 5?
I would say Kate Gordon and Maddie Gordon are in the top 5.
Okay, there you go. That's all. That's as far as I'll push.
I'm sure everybody would agree with that too. So I'm not hurting anybody's feelings with that.
What is your greatest moment in 42 years as a coach?
That's pretty tough. I'm going to be honest with you. The induction was pretty special.
Yeah.
Because that's something that's a group of people said, hey, let me put a stamp on this. You've had a great thing.
Right.
We're going to put you in here.
Absolutely.
So that's one. One of my fondest memories was years, and it hadn't been that long ago. We were at a state championship game. Well, it doesn't always work out with graduation, and because they're going to have a state game whether you.
Right.
So I had some kids that year. We were at a state tournament, and our kids graduated on the field. Very quick, simple, before the game, cap and gown. And the thing I remember is about our kids in the dugout with their teammates putting their cap and gown on and making everything look good, and them walking up through the steps to go get their.
That was either 14 or 15 because I remember when that happened. That was a special moment. When did you realize that you had built a true program here with softball at Page County High School?
I still haven't realized I built the program.
Still haven't realized.
It's just what I do.
But you have.
But that's what people tell me. But this is what I do. Yeah. This is what we do here.
Every year is a challenge.
Every year is a challenge.
Okay. All right. Where is the toughest place to play in the region?
Right here.
Right here.
Right
Alan
here.
Knight Field.
Wow.
I hear you. Yeah, I hear you.
This field right here.
Yeah.
Just happens to have my name on it.
Yeah. Not TA. Not.
I think it's a pretty tough place to play. I think you would probably get a lot of people to agree with that too. It's pretty tough to come in here and play.
Y'all haven't lost many.
We haven't lost too many here now.
All right, final question. We're going to let you go, Coach. You've been very gracious with your time today. And again, I with all you've accomplished, 42 years, what keeps you going? Why do you keep doing it?
I still like it. Like I said, I think I said it earlier, I still like seeing kids grow.
Right.
Whether it be athletically, individually, as a group of kids that come together and form a bond and accomplish a goal together.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's part of it.
Well, I'll tell you, there's a lot in the Panther Nation that think a lot of you. I know a lot of former players that speak very well of you. And we just want to say thank you for being with us here today. I appreciate it very much. And we want to thank you for spending time with us. Everything that you have done and everything that you will do in the future for our kids and our community.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
We want to also say thank you to Eleanor Arrington for all of her work behind the camera today. If you enjoyed today's show, make sure to hit that like button and share it with a friend. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel at Page Valley News. And as always, make sure you visit our furry friends down at the Page County Animal Shelter and help them find a forever home. Until next week, I'm Randy Arrington saying, enjoy that Page Valley living.